What's up, guys? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's recap and review Real Housewives of New York. This is season 15, episode 5. So let's get into it. So, y'all know sometimes before we get into it, we get a little spicy, just a little bit. And this was posted on Monday. So it looks like Brynn is trying to prove that she never left Psy on red. So she posted this in her Insta story where you know how she was like, ask me some questions. So one of the questions was, why did you leave Psy on red? And so she put a screenshot of the text message and said, I didn't leave anyone on red. I received an apology text on Friday evening and responded on Monday. Waiting the weekend to reply to someone who cussed you out in public is not the ultimate form of disrespect. It's actually self-respect and setting healthy boundaries with friends. So then another question that was given was, why is Psy so mad at you? She said it was because you blew her off after the Thanksgiving invite. And so she showed another screenshot of a text. And she said, I'm done with the topic after this. An invite was extended and I replied immediately in kind. This is how all communication went. Friendly and sweet. Brynn is evil and has hurt many for months. And then she put the emoji. So the first part of this, I don't think it was wrong for Brynn to wait until Monday. That's 3 days until Monday to respond to Psy and be like, hey, we could talk about it in the Hamptons. Because I tried to read the text message, but because it's a screenshot of a screenshot, I was struggling. But it seems like she told Psy that she needed a moment to chill, to collect her nerves before responding to her. I don't think that's wrong. I feel like you're allowed to respond to things the way you see fit and in the manner and the way you want to. The second part, I kind of get why Psy is upset with Brynn, because it seems like Psy has been the one to take initiative and keep trying to reach out to Brynn to meet up to have coffee or hang out. She also apologized to her at the reunion and Brynn kind of paid it dust. And I think Psy is the type of person that she always has her guard up. She's not somebody that apologizes unless she truly means it. And I think she's like, well, I'm going out of my way. I apologize. I tried to speak to you. I tried to talk to you. And I invited you to Thanksgiving. And I know Thanksgiving is a hard time for you because of your family and stuff like that. And then you give me a dry response. People don't like feeling ashamed or feeling embarrassed or feeling taken advantage of or bamboozled. And I feel like Psy probably felt like a loser or a mark, because it's like, I'm reaching out to this girl, I'm texting her, I'm trying to meet up, trying to make amends, and I even go to the extent to invite her to Thanksgiving with my family, and she gives me a dry text. And, we interpret things differently. Brynn could have thought that that was a kind response, but Psy took it as like, no, girl, you playing in my face and I'm trying to be nice to you. So the next thing I want to talk about is High Fest. So if you don't know what High is, it is a streaming platform similar to Peacock, but they show all the variations of Real Housewives as well as other shows. So the international Real Housewives shows that are not under Bravo, such as Real Housewives of Melbourne, Real Housewives of Lagos. I think there was a Canadian version of Real Housewives. They show it on High. High is not available in the States, but it is available overseas. So a few of the ladies, such as Sutton, Lisa Barlow, Jessel, and Ashley Darby were doing promo for their shows as well as doing Q&As during High Fan Fest. And Jessel revealed that they actually had to cut filming short for Real Housewives of New York because of the situation that happened between Brynn and Uba. So let me play that for you.
Our season that is currently airing, we actually had to cut filming short. Someone got put on a plane and someone got shipped to a hotel.
What? Someone?
What do you mean shit?
We had to separate, and then they couldn't film anymore.
So Sutton had me weak in this, because every time Jessel says something, she's like, what? Who got shipped off? But I'm guessing Uba was the one that they put on a plane, and Brynn was the one that was in the hotel, because I remember Uba saying in the opening of the season 1 that she was like, if y'all take her side or if y'all don't show the proof or something, I'm leaving. Like, I quit or something like that. So I'm guessing if you're making mention that you're quitting the show or you don't want to be around anybody anymore, then you probably need to go back to New York, because it does seem like they were maybe like overseas somewhere or on an island trip for their cash trip. But I am wondering, how did the fight get even, like the beef between them get even worse? But let's get into this review. So let's talk about Miss Sai. So I'm gonna get all of her scenes out the way. So we see Sai and her husband basically at Home Depot. I don't even know if they have Home Depot in New York. I feel like there's no room for it. You know, like Lowe's and Home Depot, like, are such big buildings that I don't know, like, do they have that? They have to have it, but I guess it wouldn't be in the city. But they're like walking around in the garden section, and we find out that Sai is now officially ready to like pay tribute to her mother's ashes, like put them in a nice urn. And her husband suggests, like, why don't we take a little bit of her ashes and plant a tree at our house in upstate New York? And she's like, oh, that would be wonderful. She kind of felt like, ashamed that it's taken her this long, because, last season we found out that her mom was like in a Walmart bag in her closet, and everyone was like, girl, what? But we also know that Sai didn't have the best relationship with her mother, because her mother had struggles with addiction. So I like that her husband was like, people grieve in different ways. And that's definitely true. Some people can accept death and just be happy that they had the memories with that person and know that they are not suffering from pain anymore and they went peacefully. Other people go into depression. Some people are in the middle where it's sad, but you're like happy. It's like they said, grief comes in waves, and everybody grieves totally differently. Sometimes you can't really judge how people grieve because you're not the person that lost that person. So we see the family go to their home upstate, and it's a really nice home. Like, it's not fully decorated because Sai is like taking her time, but it's still a nice place. We see her 2 kids, we see her husband, and we see her aunt, who is her mother's sister. And it seems like the aunt has taken the role of being like the surrogate grandmother, and I love that for them. At least they have a piece of their grandmother through the different stories that the aunt has probably told them about their grandmother. And Sai has a connection still with her mother's family. So we finally see her go into the kitchen and tell her husband and her aunt and her kids, I'm ready to bury mom's ashes. So we see the son, he's so cute, help his dad dig this really huge pit, and they were going to like scoop the ashes out, but Sai was like, it's just crazy that here was this person and now they're just a bag full of ashes. And the aunt sits down and she takes like a scoop full of the ashes, and she like pours them into the actual hole that they dug. She talks about how the mom was into, like, I don't know if it was like the not Santeria, I don't know if they said Santeria, but being into like the herbs and like incense and like sage and stuff like that. So she was like, this would be something she loves, because the mom was so into nature, and that's the reason why they wanted to bury her ashes up there and possibly keep the urn up there, because her mom was so into being in nature. And before her mom passed away, she actually did come to their house, and they said she enjoyed it. So I started crying, I'm not gonna lie, when the aunt's voice cracked and she was saying how much she loved her sister and how she just wished she was there. And then Sai started crying, and then the 2 kids started crying, and I was over here crying. But it was a very beautiful moment. And then it was funny how Sai was like, do y'all notice that like she is just getting my mom on everybody? Because the aunt was the only one that touched the ashes. But it was just nice. You can definitely tell that people going off on Sai last season might have been a blessing in disguise for her, because it does seem that she is being more vulnerable and probably more introspective into like who she is as a person. And it probably was a blessing in disguise because she does seem a little more lighthearted. She does seem a little more relaxed. So we have this scene of Jessel and Pavitt. So we find out that it is Jessel's birthday and she wants to have a Clueless themed birthday. And she was like, I always wanted to be like the main character of Clueless, just fabulous, young, and free, living in Beverly Hills and rich. We find out that Pavitt grew up in LA, but he has never seen Clueless. And she's like, that's crazy. You've never seen Clueless? Like, what do you mean? And she ends up shading him in the confessional, being like, Pavitt is into like Star Trek and Star Wars, that lame stuff over there. And it's starting to make me feel like maybe Pavitt and Jessel's relationship was an arrangement more than anything, because it doesn't seem like they have really that much in common. He also seems to take her for granted in the sense that like he doesn't seem to put much effort into their relationship. So I'm just wondering, like, was it like opposites attracted, or if you guys were like, hey, we come from two really well-known families, we should just get together, because I'm just not seeing the chemistry between them. But Clueless is a movie that I used to watch all the time. I feel like they had so many reruns playing on like multiple channels when I was little. So I'm actually surprised that Pavitt hasn't seen it, But we then move from that scene and we have this scene with Jenna. We find out since she knows her son is about to leave, she's trying her best to like keep herself busy and not worry or stress about that. We see that now she is working as like, I guess, the fashion marketer or something like that for this online magazine called Covert. I think that's how you pronounce it. And we see them actually have a sit down and like a roundtable discussion with everyone that works there. And one lady talks about how women are now going to Turkey to get eyebrow transplants, and they work the same way as when men get hair plugs. I said, it's not that deep for me, just pencil them in. They also talked about, one lady proposed like, hey, since the month of June is coming up, we should do something that is dedicated to the LGBTQIA community. And then Jenna was like, oh yeah, that's great. She also wants to do something for Black History Month, but she was like, she doesn't want it to feel like we're just spotlighting these people because it's their month. She wants it to be something very natural. And I agree. So they had like a really nice conversation, and it was nice to see Jenna actually working, because I really feel like we only got like one scene of her working last season where she was doing the modeling, but this is actually really nice. So the next thing we have is of Raquel going over to Uba's house to actually look at some of the art that she has painted. We find out that Uba's been painting since 2021, and some of her pieces were actually nice. Like, she had nice complementary colors. Like, I would purchase one and like put it in my hallway or have it like as an accent piece in a room. They then sit down and Raquel asks her about this one piece that's behind her, and it's basically the American flag, but it's in black and white, and instead of the stars, it's these circles that Uba likes to draw, and they're like gold. And Uba was like, when I look at America, I don't see red, white, and blue. I see black and white, and I see gold. And America has like, it's just this beautiful, and Raquel finished her sentence like, this beautiful country, where she was like, it's the land of like opportunity. She said, never would I thought I'd be able to be this Black Somali Muslim girl who was able to come to this country and start my own business and like be successful. And like, no one's stopping me, asking me like, where am I going? Where's my ID? It's just, I appreciate being here. We find out that she immigrated from Somalia to Canada, and then through modeling when she was like 16 or I guess 17, the modeling agency was able to help her move to New York, and then she began to start modeling. Raquel chimes in and is like, yes, same, me too. Uba also says she didn't know that at the time they weren't giving Black girls jobs. She said she came down here very gullible, thinking that, if I put my best foot forward and I work hard, I'll get a job, versus not understanding that like almost every modeling agency only had that one Black girl. And Raquel was like, girl, and I was that one Black girl. Mind you, the girl that they were ushering me in to take her spot was only like a few years older than me, and they tried to act like she was old. Now, before I talk about the Bryn situation, what I will say is I kind of took issue with what Uba said, talking about, as an immigrant, I take issues with Americans, like, don't F it up. Like, we're extremely grateful. And be grateful, but don't discredit what other people have done, because that is what causes confrontation when it comes to immigrants versus Americans, is because y'all like to act like this country is so great but discredit how black and brown and some white people like shed blood, tears, and sweat during the civil rights movement to make this country easy for you to inhabit, to make it easy for you to be this black Somali single girl who could come over here and not be met with persecution. So if we want to mess it up, if we have grievances with our government, we have every single right to like call it out. So yes, be grateful, but also don't disrespect or discredit the hard work and the lives that were lost who fought for you to be able to have these freedoms. So the conversation continues, and they were talking about how great Uba's lamb was because she got cold, and Raquel was like, oh, do you think you have low iron? And she was like, no, I eat lamb every day. And that's when Raquel was like, oh girl, your lamb was amazing. And Uba's like, well, great, I'm glad that you barbecued. But she was like, girl, that breakfast was horrible. And so Uba starts to explain to Raquel what happened, where she was like, I took issue with Bryn trying to say I was the angry black woman, when it's like the night before you were being so condescending. And so Raquel was like, oh, I get it. It's kind of manipulative that Bryn is trying to say don't be the angry black woman, but not take ownership of how you have riled her up or caused her to give you this type of energy and these types of emotions. So then Raquel is like, well, don't you think you guys need to have like a conversation or something? And Uba's like, no, because whatever Bryn has for me or feels for me, she's going to be arguing with herself. She already has these preconceived notions about me, so I don't feel the need to like take the initiative to actually like settle our issues, because like at the end of the day, I ain't really got a problem with her, she got a problem with me. And Raquel's whole thing is like, we're friends, like don't let things fester, have a conversation. And I do agree, but I feel like if anybody has a conversation with Bryn, it needs to be somebody that's there that's going to mediate between Uba and Bryn, because you can tell that they're both very hot-headed, and when Uba gets mad, Bryn shuts down, and when Bryn gets disrespectful to Uba gets disrespectfuler. So they need somebody that will be non-biased or impartial and actually mediate a conversation between them. So the next scene we have is of Jessel, Bryn, and Sai going to this boutique. Now we know Jessel is having a Clueless birthday party. Couldn't get it out, and she wants to have multiple outfit changes as like an homage to the first scene of Clueless, where Cher picks her iconic like yellow outfit. And so they're there at the boutique, they're having fun, and then they decide to have this sit down. So then Aaron is like, girl, did you see on Instagram that Jenna and Sai were hanging out? Like, that's hella fake to me. And Bryn is like, girl, what? I'm gonna be really mad at Jenna if all of a sudden she friends with Sai, and like, why would you be friends with her? So then Aaron is like, yeah, that's like really fake, because you were telling us that Sai was calling you everything but a child of God and telling people that she hates you, but now all of a sudden you're friends with her. I don't want to be friends with nobody like that, especially when I've been a good friend to Jenna and she hasn't gone out her way to check up on me and see how I'm doing. She knows that my mom is sick. She knows that I'm dealing with issues with my husband, and that I'm dealing with like just being a mom in general, and she has yet to reach out to me the same way she did last season. And so Aaron is just like, I'm over Jenna. So we actually see a flashback of Sai and Jenna meeting up, where they're talking about their mom's ashes, and Sai is giving Jenna an update about how she buried her mom's ashes, and Jenna is like, she hasn't done anything with her mom's ashes, she doesn't really know what to do with them. So then Bryn starts talking about seeing Uba at Jessel's party and how like she's just over it, all of that stuff. She then starts mocking Uba with the whole no, 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 no. She's like, we live in New York, for God's sake. Like, we don't act like that. And I'm like, well, you mocking her it's equivalent. Like, if you're trying to take this position, Brent, of being so like highbrow and so regal and all of this, then mocking her doesn't make you any better than Uba. So she's just like, that's not how we're gonna be. And she was like, when it comes to Sai, I want an actual verbal apology. Like, girl, you cuss me out in public, you need to apologize to my face. But then I'm like, well, Bryn, because we did the spicy corner, you responded to her. Now, I told y'all I couldn't see the whole entire text message because it was like a screenshot of a screenshot. Now, if she said in the text message that she wanted to have a conversation with Sai and she felt like she deserved a verbal apology, then that's all well and good. But if we're discrediting what I talked about in Spicy Corner and just talking about what was shown in the show, then ma'am, why did you not meet her up for coffee and actually talk to her? Maybe if you met up with her for coffee, because that's how she ended her text message, then she probably would have been able to give you the verbal apology that you want. So then Bryn says that Sai is miserable and that she's a troll and that, she watches Gen Z. So she's trying to allow Sai to have her feelings. But like, you're not going to keep treating me some type of way and think I'm going to continue being nice to you. And I'm like, where have you really been nice? You've been hella passive aggressive, Bryn. So she's just like, yeah, like, I think Sai is miserable and she just can't take the fact that I'm happy in my life. And I said, I guess, girl. So it's time for Jessel's party. I like the setup. It was like in a bar, but they had pink everywhere. They had As If. They had Clueless mocktails and stuff. It was cute. Jessel's outfit, hated it. Because, girl, if this is supposed to be a Clueless themed party, why do you not have on iconic Clueless outfits? Like, why didn't you wear the iconic yellow outfit that Cher wears? Or if you didn't want to wear that, why not wear the red dress with the boa that's in the Clueless movie poster? This pink outfit, I said, girl, this is just giving Valentine's Day, not Clueless. Everyone starts to show up. Jenna's outfit was kind of funny because she dressed as the dad in Clueless. Bryn came as Stacey Dash's character. I cannot remember her name, but I liked Bryn's outfit and her friend's outfit, who I think is the white girl with the red hair in the movie that does the loser pose. Then you have Jenna being the dad, giving out like cease and desist and like letters saying that she's suing people for she sued Jessel over the whole Christmas tree outfit. She sued what's her name, Erin, for the destruction of property of her Pavlova. Like, it was funny. It was cheeky but funny. We then see Rebecca Minkoff get there. Her outfit, like she said, like Jessel said, she looked like she going to Cher's funeral. It really wasn't giving. And Erin and her, all three of them are having a conversation where they're like, so has Pavi got you anything for your actual birthday, which is tomorrow? And she said, girl, no. We then have this confessional of Pavi where he's basically like, he doesn't really believe in all these like extravagant gifts. He feels like they were made by the greeting card company. To me, it just sounds like Pavitt is cheap and he's lazy, because what if it doesn't matter if it's made by the greeting card company? If it means something to Jessel, put in effort. That's why I'm starting to feel like, girl, this relationship is given an arrangement. And I don't know if Indian people really divorce each other, but like, I can see Jessel getting tired of Pavitt, because I would be tired of Pavitt, because you not putting an interest in me would make me feel like you don't want me, and that would make me stray away from you. That's just it. So we end up seeing Sai get there. I think I like Sai's dress her outfit the most. It was a dress, but it was a dress of Stacey Dash's character just going to school, and it was really cute, and she had the box braids. We then see Raquel. I don't remember this outfit in the movie, but I said, okay, Raquel, you do you. So then we have two conversations going on at once. You got Erin and Sai talking because Sai notices that Erin is in a mood. And then you see Bryn and Jenna talking. Honestly, what the Erin and Sai conversation boiled down to, because then Uba joins the conversation, is that Erin is very much bothered by the fact that Jenna has not been checking up on her the same way that she did last season. And she's trying to act like she's unbothered by the situation, but she's telling everybody how she doesn't want to be friends with Jenna. Jenna is fake. She's mad at at her, but she doesn't want to tell Jenna because Uba's like, have you talked to Jenna? And she's like, no, I'm over it. Girl, you're not over it. You're bothered and your feelings are hurt because you feel like you put way more into the friendship than she has, and you're mad. That's it. This whole like, I'm bothered, I'm unbothered, but I'm bothered is high key annoying, and it's giving Karen behavior. We then have Brynn and Jenna having a conversation. And what that conversation boiled down to is Brynn is not happy that Jenna is being friends with Sai and Uba because she's like, they're being mean to me right now, and you shouldn't want to be friends with people that are mean to me. She was like, if you become friends with people that make me sad, I'm not going to be happy, and no more sexy. To me, Jenna is a simp for Brynn. Like, everything Brynn does, she finds, like, she's infatuated with that lady. And I'm just like, I don't get how you can't see past like Brynn's like shtick and just be like, because next thing you know, she's like, I'm so glad that Brynn was direct. And in a way, Brynn was direct to Jenna about her feelings. And she was like, I don't like how Aaron tried to backdoor the conversation. But Jenna, we've seen you when you're confronted, you deflect and then act like you some senile old bird that doesn't know what's going on. So I don't know. The conversation was slow on both ends. We then see a moment where Brynn and Rebecca kind of get into it, where Rebecca's like, oh, I'm going to go get a drink, daddy, to Jenna. And Brynn is like, oh my God, you about to go drink? And Rebecca's like, girl, no, I'm about to go get me a club soda. Like, why are you clocking my drinks? Like, why are you trying to pressure me into drinking? And Brynn is like, I'm not a frat boy. I'm not trying to pressure you into drinking. But it is giving that, Brynn. Like, why are you clocking if she's drinking or not? So then Rebecca kind of says in her confessional, why do you need to know if I'm drinking or not? Like, do you have a problem? Do you need to drink all the time? And then Brynn is like, well, girl, you're boring. And then Brynn says to Rebecca, like, well, girl, the streets are saying that you do drink, you just don't drink around us, which is Rebecca's right. But one thing I can give Brynn is Rebecca is boring. She's not interesting. She doesn't give anything to the show. Like, we gonna have to call a spade a spade. I think the only reason why Rebecca is here is because of her name, but it's like she doesn't add any flavor to the show. And I think Brynn thinks, well, if Rebecca starts drinking, maybe she will be interesting. But Brynn does need to lay off asking that lady, is she drinking or not? Like, who are you to count if she's drinking or not? Like, get off of her. So Jessel does an outfit change. Like Aaron said, how you having a clueless party and none of what you're wearing is clueless theme? Girl, just missing the mark. Missing the mark. We then find out that Brynn is leaving. She set an appointment to get a spray tan at 9:40 p.m., which I'm like, are tanning shops even open that late? But who sets an appointment to get a tan at 9:40? I just think she wanted to leave. Cause why, girl? We then see this interaction between Abe and Jenna, where Abe is trying to tell Jenna, girl, there's some tension between you and Aaron. And Jenna's like, I don't know, there's no tension between us. Like, what's going on? Like, what you mean tension? What do you mean? And then he ends up shutting up because he realized he probably is making the situation worse. So we finally get the conversation between Aaron and Jenna. And Aaron is trying to act like she's not hurt and not bothered, which was really annoying. And Raquel was like, girl, you are hurt. Just tell her. So then Jenna is like, what's going on with us? And Aaron was like, it's nothing. I just feel like I've been a better friend than you have been to me. And it just bothers me. What it boils down to is that Aaron feels like she stuck up for Jenna the most last season and doesn't understand how Jenna is making friends with Sai, as well as she hates the fact that Jenna actually believed what Brynn said about her with the whole poor thing. And Aaron's like, Brynn fabricates and makes up lies. Why would you believe her outright? Like, are you serious? And Jenna was like, well, no, I believe some of it, but not all of it. And Aaron is just like, why would you? So then Aaron feels like Brynn purposely did what she did, where she put a wrench in their relationship because she saw how close Aaron and Jenna were at the reunion. And it seems like the relationship was really blossoming. So she tells Jenna about how Brynn said, she purposely told me that the only reason she said what she said about the whole poor thing to you is because she felt embarrassed that you pointed out that she forgave me too quickly after the Jeff Lewis situation. So she brought up the whole poor thing. So then Jenna is like, so she said that to hurt me? And Aaron's like, no, she said it to hurt me, to spite me. And so Jenna is like, I don't think this really has anything to do with Bryn. That's what she's saying in her confessional. Like I said, being like a simp for Bryn. And because she never calls Bryn out on what she does wrong. But Jenna says she just needs to do better with communicating with Aaron, that she's not the best when it comes to text messages or calling people, and she's going to do better. I honestly think it's a combination of both. I do think Aaron feels like she's been a great friend to Jenna, and Jenna hasn't really reciprocated it. But I also feel like Bryn does seem to like get in between people's relationships when she feels left out. And she feels like she's not a part of the conversation because Sai has mentioned it and now Aaron has. So I'll see. We'll see if it's actually like true, if their assessment of Bryn is true when the season continues. But yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. And as always, remember to be bravely authentic and definitely hop down in the comments below and share your thoughts with me. And I'm out, y'all. Deuces.